Relations between Russia and the U.S. have returned to chilly, Cold War-like levels of tension. While many point to the conflict in Ukraine as the source of the problem, others suggest that things were spiraling downward even beforehand. Former Russian Foreign Minister Igor Ivanov provides insight into the relationship during a discussion with former CNN correspondent and current Wilson Center public policy scholar Jill Dougherty in this edition of Rewind.
Today, we are very fortunate to hear from one of Russia's top foreign policy minds, to get his perspective on recent events in Ukraine and to hear, I hope, a positive vision for how our two countries move forward.
The relationship, as we all know, is extremely bad right now. You would say it wasn't just Ukraine that pushed it over the edge. You would say that it goes back further. Who's at fault? Who's guilty?
For me, it would be easier to say that mistakes were from the other side, and I can enumerate all the list of problems which we never understood well, or we thought that steps were made against the interests of Russia, starting with the enlargement of NATO, anti-missile defense, and so on and so far.
You know, you mentioned that everything is pretty much stalled, and every U.S. official that I speak with says basically nothing is happening in the relationship. How far is Russia willing to go to let that relationship deteriorate?
And it's clear that the international community needs cooperation and not to live in their own countries. That's why I think that I cannot agree with such statements that we can live well without each other. We need each other.
How far is Russia willing to take its retaliatory measures, which seem aimed at, existing? You mentioned this in the beginning, existing by itself. Because I have heard that there is dissension among Putin's inner circle about how Russia should deal with these sanctions.
From my point of view, in this case, the application of sanctions demonstrate the incapacity of political solution and lack of political dialogue. Economically speaking, it's not good for Russia, sanctions. This is not dramatic situation, it's not good. It will be bad for everybody, I repeat. I don't say that we don't suffer. We suffer from sanctions, it's clear. We suffer mainly in financial area, in energy area, in new technologies and modern technologies. They will create, but it doesn't mean that Russia cannot survive. Russia will survive, but I repeat, it will affect everybody. It will affect Russia, it will affect Europe, not so United States, but also some American companies.
The impression right now is that things really went south after Ukraine. Ukraine is basically the reason that everything is falling apart. But you actually said that it was one in a series, that this has been coming for a while. Could you explain to the people here, what do you mean by that?
I think that our common mistake was thinking that Cold War was over and everything, all problems were settled. After the Cold War, we never had serious negotiations about our strategic basis or basis of our strategic cooperation in new era after the Cold War. We created something. It was a Gor-Chernomyrdin, for example, commission or presidential commission, some working groups, but it was mechanism, not principles. That's why if we understand well that it's necessary to change the direction of our relations, Ukraine, we have to study the lessons of Ukraine crisis. And to study lessons means we have to sit together and help the Ukrainians resolve their problem, their crisis.
For more information, visit wilsoncenter.org. Click the Programs tab to find additional resources from the Wilson Center's Kennan Institute.